Canada defeats USA in overtime to capture first-ever Four Nations face-off title. In a tournament that quickly became as politically charged as it was competitive, Canada emerged victorious over the United States in the first-ever Four Nations face-off, capping an intense and historic international showdown. Connor McDavid's overtime winner sealed a 3-2 triumph at TD Garden in Boston, sending ticket prices soaring in the days leading up to the highly anticipated finale. The tournament, featuring stars from Canada, the United States, Finland, and Sweden, delivered high-stakes, best-on-best hockey that had been missing from the sport for nearly a decade. With NHL players set to return for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, Thursday's championship clash offered a glimpse of what's to come on the international stage. A battle of hockey titans ends with McDavid's heroics. The scoring opened just 4:48 into the first period, as Nathan MacKinnon weaved through traffic and ripped a wrist shot past American goaltender Connor Hellebuyck, giving Canada an early 1-0 lead. The United States responded late in the period when Auston Matthews' wraparound attempt sent the puck into chaos, allowing Brady Tkachuk to poke in a loose rebound, tying the game at 1-1 with 3:08 remaining in the first. Midway through the second, the Americans grabbed their first lead of the night when Jake Sanderson capitalized on a deflected pass from Matthews, netting his first goal of the tournament to make it 2-1 USA. But Canada struck back with 6 minutes left in the period, as Mitch Marner set up Sam Bennett, who buried a wrist shot past Hellebuyck to send the game into the third period tied at 2-2. In overtime, it was McDavid, widely regarded as the best player in the NHL, who delivered the decisive moment. Left alone in the slot, he took a perfect cross-ice feed from Marner and blasted a one-timer past Hellebuyck at 8:18 into OT, securing Canada's championship. After the game, McDavid admitted his performance hadn't been his best, but the game-winning goal erased any frustration. "All that was going through my mind was just keep going," McDavid said. "I struggled all night, but these guys played great, and we found a way." A tournament years in the making. The Four Nations face-off marked the first best-on-best men's hockey tournament since the 2016 World Cup of Hockey. With NHL players barred from competing in the 2018 and 2022 Winter Olympics, many of the game's top stars had been starved for international competition. To fill that void, the NHL introduced this tournament in place of its traditional All-Star game, giving players a rare chance to compete for national pride in a meaningful format. The tournament's intensity, high quality of play, and sheer unpredictability drew rave reviews from fans, players, and league executives alike, but it also played out against a backdrop of rising political tensions between the United States and Canada. Political undercurrents, Trump, tariffs, and anthem boos. While the tournament itself was a showcase of elite hockey, the rivalry took on a political edge in the wake of recent comments from former U.S. President Donald Trump. In the weeks leading up to the final, Trump repeatedly suggested the U.S. would absorb Canada as its 51st state, calling for hockey legend Wayne Gretzky to serve as the country's premier. Trump also threatened sweeping tariffs on Canadian imports, stating he would use economic leverage to push for a U.S. takeover. His remarks stirred emotions on both sides of the border, leading to booing of the American national anthem at Canadian sporting events, including Saturday's USA-Canada round-robin game in Montreal. That game, which the U.S. won 3-1, saw 3 separate fights erupt within the first 9 seconds, a clear reflection of the escalating tension. Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, and J.T. Miller later revealed that the American team had planned the fights in a group chat ahead of time, seeking to send an early message. Canadian forward Brandon Hagel, who squared off with Matthew Tkachuk in one of the altercations, dismissed the idea of prearranged fights. "We don't need group chats for that," Hagel said Tuesday. "We're playing for our country, not the cameras." Tkachuk fired back the next day. "Maybe their team doesn't like each other if they don't have group chats." Trump's call to Team USA before the final. Despite being invited to attend Thursday's game, Trump declined, citing a prior speaking engagement in Washington, D.C. Instead, he called the American players in their locker room before the game, offering his support. Earlier in the day, Trump once again taunted Canada on Truth Social. "I'll be calling our great American hockey team this morning to spur them on towards victory tonight against Canada, which, with far lower taxes and much stronger security, will someday, maybe soon, become our cherished, and very important, 51st state. He added, I will be speaking before the governors tonight in D.C., and will sadly, therefore, be unable to attend. But we will all be watching, and if Governor Trudeau would like to join us, he would be most welcome. Trump has recently taken to referring to Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as Governor Trudeau, a title that sparked controversy. Trudeau, who attended Saturday's game in Montreal, has not responded directly to the remarks. The Canadian Embassy declined to comment on Trump's latest statements. A championship to remember. While politics swirled off the ice, the action on it was undeniable. The Four Nations face-off showcased hockey at its highest level, delivering thrilling moments and setting the stage for the return of NHL players to Olympic competition in 2026. And with McDavid's overtime heroics now etched into history, Canada stands atop the international hockey world once again, at least until the next chapter in this storied rivalry unfolds.